First of all, I didn't forget to acknowledge those who are mothers, and so even with the lights dim, I want you to stand so we can acknowledge you. If you are a mother, please stand. There you go. Yeah. So I took it upon myself to talk to a variety of powerful women who weren't necessarily mothers, because I wanted to get their take on what this day was like for them. Interestingly enough, some of them avoid coming to church. And one of the reasons that is because it brings up perhaps unresolved thoughts within themselves about their life, about their worth. So it was fascinating. And I wanted to go down that path because when we talk about a world that works for everyone, do you realize how comprehensive that is? I didn't even realize it. It feels like a month ago, but last week, if you weren't here for second service, there was a child who was quite vocal. And I had said all along to Maddie that we weren't going to manage people. There's a difference between being a manager and being a minister. And I'd rather be a minister than a manager. And once that happened, we stopped telling people to turn their cell phones off. We let children come in. You can eat your Cheerios if you want to. Because, for example, if a mother has the wherewithal to get a child together and to bring them to church and that child's fussy, the last thing that one would want to do was to ask that mother to leave the space. And so when you think about a world that works for everyone, it allows us to give us pause. And some of the traditional things that we do to honor those around us is larger in scope. And so I wanted to gather some of that information. And in so doing, they pointed me to a couple of writings that I found quite interesting. But suffice it to say, to be a mother, you need not have given birth, but you need to have taken on the responsibility of nurturing another human being for the rest of your life. Yep, for the rest of your life. The expectations of a mother never end, even when the children are adults. So to be a mother, as one woman said, you need to have taken on what a friend said, the sheer eternity of it. The sheer eternity of it. And so in this feedback, there was the traditional asking those who are mothers to stand. But for the other women, what could we say? And so they geared me to this. Some of you are not mothers by choice. You personally have determined the wisest course for you. Maybe the reasons are medical, or maybe they have to do with the demands of your personal mission. Whether that's a career to which you are called or your form of ministry that would have been hard on a family. Some of you are not mothers simply because your life took a certain path that did not include motherhood. You have done what seemed right, made the decisions that were consistent with who you are and what you love. Maybe you never married or never arrived at a situation that you considered healthy for the nurturing of a child. Maybe major life events removed you from the motherhood track. Some of you are not mothers because of severe wounding in your life or in the life of your family. That damage could be abuse, depression, addiction, or other illness, or a condition of one's soul that has required most of your time and attention for the sake of healing and restoration. All of this got in the way of a life that includes perhaps partnership or child rearing. Some of you are not mothers despite every effort you made to become one. You tried for months or years to become pregnant or to finalize an adoption, but those plans were thwarted at every turn, through no fault of your own. The only people who could possibly understand how desperate and abandoned one feels in those situations are those who have been in those situations themselves. So for whatever reason, for being childless, please know this. You are indeed a source of life to the world. You possess the ability to nurture others. And if you free yourself to do so, you will be amazed at how fertile you actually are. So the ability to nurture, that's really what we're going to focus on today. I've invited the astounding Laura Berman to collab. It's kind of like Steve and Edie, David Aurelio said today. We're going to be playing off of one another. The ability to nurture. And so when you think about that, everyone has the ability to nurture because nurturing is instinctual. And there are two gifts that are necessary in order for any of us to be able to nurture others. One is roots, and one is wings. Roots and wings. So roots represent home. They represent love. I even like it this way. They represent content. And when I say content, I'm talking about the way in which content makes up life. And so roots represent home, love, content. And the presence of this content is of all reality. So there's not a one of us that does not have roots.
Throw away your crystal ball, 'cause it will never tell you all about me. Have your fun rummaging through my past. Gotta say I'm done with that, I'm done with that, I am free. There is nothing I am guilty of in the eyes of perfect love. Finally I am waking up from my sleep like a child in a warm embrace, staring at his mother's face, knowing heaven's just a place that's been right here all along. It's been right here all along.
And so roots have been here right all along. And nurturing must first have roots. The content of unconditional love, the constancy of love, and this is what you might want to call the Divine Mother. It might feel rare for many of us, perhaps you, to have such nurturing or to believe that such nurturing exists. But it is the recognition of these roots that form the basis of our individual ability to be able to replicate that. To be able to not only begin to nurture others, but to start to nurture ourselves.
I wasted time popping all my stupid pills, believing that I was ill, I was afraid to feel. Now I'm letting go of searching for a brand new fix. Never really sick, I am healed. I am dancing high above the clouds, living only in the now, present to a brand new vow of joy, of joy. Don't you want to have a taste of what it's like to feel this safe in the magnitude of heaven's grace that's been right here all along. It's been right here all along.
Roots having been here, right here, all along. The amazing thing about roots is that they are not earned. So essentially the basis of nurturing is something that you already are, you already have. It's not something that you have to go and be schooled in. It's the natural component of what we are. And the Divine Mother, when we use that expression, we're talking about the divine creation as ourselves. It's ever present, and it is always ushering and offering this thing of unconditional life. So roots, one of the first aspects of nurturing, and the other being wings. Wings are interesting. Because to the degree of our recognition of our roots, it determines our relationship with our wings. Because wings are form. You know what I mean by that? Wings are form. So if you're a mother with a physical child, you provide them with roots the best that you can, but you really can't determine or lock in the way in which they're going to use their wings. You can't determine the way that someone that you love is going to use their wings. And the beauty of that is found in the word unconditional. Because conditioned love means that then we mandate how one uses their wings. And wings are form. And form crumbles, or form gets damaged, or form changes. And no matter what happens to our wings, no matter how often they give out or take me to destinations or take you to destinations that feel like dead ends, they do not change my relationship with my roots. So we begin to understand that wings must be a part of nurturing, but the Divine Mother does not judge us on how we use those wings. It's kind of frustrating, particularly in our philosophy. A mother will come up to me and she will say, I want you to pray that my daughter gets some sense. And that she will let go of that low life, or that she will go off and choose this as a career, thinking that what they are doing is being a divine mother. And realizing that because their roots are deep and those roots are connected to that which is their child, they want the best for them. But what happens in that particular circumstance is, artfully, I or any practitioner or other person gets to tell them, we don't quite do it that way. That what we do is we go back to you, the mother, the parent, the root, and our sole job is this, is to never think of that child as damaged. To never think of that person that we love as incomplete. Because when we reference them that way within the realm of the mental, we lock them into that. It's often said that we don't want people to think about us the way that we were 10 years ago. And yet often we will think about those people in that way. There's a word for that. It's called concretize. Doesn't that make you feel, like the mob, putting concrete things on your feet? We concretize people. We concretize our children. We concretize those that we love when we try to govern the way in which they must use their wings. So true nurturing takes place within the realm of mind solely. Those roots that run deep and fast, those roots that are home for us, they teach us over and over again that we can only love, we can't mandate. We can only love, we can't woman date. I'm trying to be an equal opportunity verbiage person here. We can only love. And in our loving, then the highest form of love is to see them mentally whole, complete, and perfect. What an incredible task that must be for a mother. What an incredible task that must be for any of us who take the path of nurturing. For we must leave the rest of that to divine intervention. And all that we see them as whole, we see them as a part of home.
I am coming home. I am coming home to the heart of a mother, strength of a father, with all of my brothers. I'm coming home.
Coming home means to begin to consider the fact that you are far more than what you have been labeled. There are two words. One is monomorphic and one is polymorphic. Do you understand the difference of mono and poly? Monomorphic means that we are just this thing and we never change. And that's just completely impossible for us. It's interesting sometimes when you might have gone for employment and they made you take one of those aptitude tests, you know, a la Myers-Briggs, and it says you are this. And that really locks you into a monomorphic state of being when really none of us are solely introverted. None of us are solely extroverted. None of us are solely feminine. None of us are solely masculine. And that what we aim for is to bring out all of those particular qualities that are embedded deep within the root system of who we are. For we are polymorphic. Polymorphic meaning that we are constantly changing. You ever been to a holistic doctor? That's what holistic medicine is based upon. They look at where you are right now in that moment. They don't label you as something definitive, which is a way Western medicine sort of looks at that. And so when you think of a nurturer, when you think of that relationship with wings, we realize that those wings are polymorphic. And even though that child or that loved one or that person that we have nurtured may have flown off in different directions, again, it becomes our job to see them only as whole, complete, and perfect. And that creation and all its variety and all of its instinct and all of its beauty and all of that which is the Divine Mother will take us beyond our wounding, will take us beyond our short-sightedness. It's not my favorite holiday, by the way. If you've been around me, these past 7 years, I got stories. Yeah. And you know, I had a revelation this week as my body's been sort of purging. And it kind of just hit me, you know. My mother, her first husband died, left her with 5 children. Then she remarried my stepdad, Sam. They were married for 25 years, and then he was killed. And then when my oldest sister, Brenda, died, and then when my sister Becky died, and then when my brother Doug committed suicide, I looked at this woman who had lost 2 husbands and 3 children. And what that does is it gives you a little bit of insight, if you're willing, to garner more compassion as to why people do what they do. So I thought a lot about Genevieve this week. I thought about her journey. I thought how sometimes when we are not aware of the roots and the wings, that we just mimic everything that we see around us. And so even though she might not have been masterful in nurturing, it doesn't mean that the possibility of nurturing doesn't exist. And here's the beautiful thing about our teaching. We are not bound by time. Time doesn't exist. There is no such thing as past. There is no such thing as future. There is only the now. That's why when that person said it's never too late to have a wonderful childhood, they were a quantum physicist. And that simply means that it becomes our responsibility as nurturers to nurture ourselves with regards to the stories that we continue to tell. Right? So if you're one to talk about a story of not being cared for properly, then we're missing out on the deep-rooted nature of the Divine Mother. Because it is never too late for us to begin to reconstruct, to revision, to reinterpret, and to articulate the way in which that Divine Mother worked through us, the way in which we, using our wings to the best of our ability, flew in whatever directions we needed to fly in. And somehow it worked out because you're here. And so if we have any stuff, talking to myself, if we have any stuff around mothers or fathers, if we have any stuff around past relationships, how does that relationship with the stuff work for you as a nurturer? Remember, it said, you possess the ability to nurture others, and if you free yourself to do so, you will be amazed at how fertile you actually are. And so the fertility of that, which is polymorphic inside of us, is really waiting for us to take a deeper breath, to laugh at the nonsense, to let go of the story, and to continue to leave behind anything that doesn't serve us, and to just keep going back, to just keep going back, to just keep going back to the one rooted idea of love.
It's a love that's true, created just for me and you. All you really have to do is know that you were never left behind in the beauty of mankind, the miracle you've tried to find. It's been right here all along. It's been right here all along. It's been right here all along. Oh.
I'm dancing high above the clouds. Can you go there? Keep going.
I am dancing high above the clouds, living only in the now, committed to a brand new vow of joy. Don't you wanna have a taste of what it's like to feel this safe in the magnitude of a heaven's grace? It's been right here all along. It's been right here all along. Heaven is right here, and the miracle right here.
So we must begin to determine if we're willing to be nurturers, if we are willing to abide by and honor and respect the roots that are inherent within us, as well as to love those who are finding their wings the best way that they know how. That is a world that works for everyone. Nurturing others for the sheer eternity of it. Nurturing ourselves for the sheer eternity of it. Someone told me today that that would be what we could call sustainable mothering. And so it is. Hi, I'm David Ault, and I simply want to say thanks. Thanks for taking the time to watch our broadcast here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We have a vision, and that vision is to reawaken all to their spiritual magnificence. And one of the ways that we are able to do that is through this very medium of broadcasting. So if you got anything out of this, if you felt in any way inspired, or if something spoke to you directly, then I extend an invitation to you to become a part of our family by donating. And there are many ways in order for you to be able to do that. One is to simply go to our website at slca.com, and there you will find all different kinds of prompts that will help you support what it is that we are doing here in Atlanta. One way is to become a pledger. That means that you decide on a monthly basis that you are going to help us with this vision. Another way is to donate through our management system called Fellowship One, another through PayPal, and another even easier way is on your cell phone. You can do what's called text to tithe, and that number is 404-796-7030. Again, thank you so much for your support, and I invite you to come back weekly to see what it is that we're up to. Blessings.